Welcome to Milence. Welcome to the workshop about the hot topic of today, the corridors. It's a big pleasure to welcome you over here and be presenting with Sam Barendregt from Smart Freight Center today. Sam, maybe short introduction about Smart Freight Center?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, now try this.
Absolutely. Hi, Bartek. Thanks for having me here. Welcome, everyone. I'm Sam Barendregt from Smart Freight Center. Smart Freight Center is a globally active nonprofit focused on sustainability in logistics. I'll get into a little bit more as we go forward, but for now, that's my introduction.
Perfect. Before we start, a very short introduction about Milence. I suppose majority of you know we were founded to lead the electric transformation of the road transport, founded by the three biggest OEMs, as a solution to biggest problems of the market, of the transportation market. So we're solving the access to the charging infrastructure, looking at resolving the TCO parity. We provide parking, we provide operational reliability, and the whole transformation is also creating more incentives for drivers to join. How are we doing today in terms of electric transformation of road transport? April has been a real milestone. There is 10,000 electric trucks on the roads today in Europe, and this is significant. Road transport is responsible for 6% of the CO2 emissions, so it really needs that change. And we do see a very rapid development. The market has been growing year on year by 40%. More trucks are coming, like the truck behind your back, the e-Actros 600, the ETGX from MAN, a long-haul Volvo, so long-haul trucking is coming. So the transition is happening now. It's no longer a story of the future, and Milence is providing the full solution. We're not only providing charging, we're also providing driver services. We provide a safe truck parking, customer support, and digital services together. And on that journey, I don't know how to make it slightly less loud, maybe just a little. We've built 20 hubs already in Europe. And this it was going to be a month when we open 25. We'll have 40 hubs from the Netherlands, our first hub in Venlo, through France, Sweden, Germany. We're the first truly European public charging company that tries to connect the east to west, the north to south. So we're now in 8 markets, soon in 10 markets, 10 key markets. And that means that we can flex a little bit our proposition towards the topic of the corridors themselves. So you see the whole design is modular. We build from 4 to 8 to 16 to 32 bays. We expand with the market. We provide the facilities that I mentioned. This is our site in Immingham. And they look consistently across the same network, regardless of where you actually come charging. Milence in numbers today, we are number one, 150 plus trucks accessible connectors, 21 hubs. And you're invited to also see our hubs on the map, our network on the map. This is more than 80 sites that we actually have secured, but we're going to deploy them in order of importance. And that actually brings us over here, because we need to prepare for tomorrow. The market is moving. And in some places, like Sweden, like Germany, it's no longer only about availability. If you have 1,000 charge points overall publicly available for trucks in Europe, this is about scaling. Customers come to us and ask about profitability and predictability. And that means we have to transition. We have to prepare for tomorrow. And the tomorrow is now, again. We're transitioning from opening hubs to opening corridors. And that's another journey. That's how we facilitate for what customers need for tomorrow. The first movers, they move from local and regional, and we want to show that a long haul is possible. How are we going to do this? This is a great idea, Sam, that we've had together. Maybe you can tell more about this?
Sure. So within the Smart Freight Center, I work with the Fleet Electrification Coalition, and our team there has some experience with setting up corridor projects in the United States and in Europe. So to do this, we follow the strategy of motivating demand from shippers and freight buyers, aggregating that motivated demand, finding the right coalitions to work with to make these corridors a reality, and then, of course, bringing in infrastructure providers and other aspects of this transition.
So I remember the moment when we came together and we had this simple, powerful idea. How about we actually engage and leverage the network of sites that we have, not to provide the charging in spots, but really opening the corridors. And you have provided this blueprint in 3 steps.
Yeah, absolutely. So this follows the strategy we've taken in both Poland and in the southwestern United States, starting to gather and analyze motivated demand from cargo owners, shippers, and carriers. Then we take that demand and build a consortium around it where we can collaborate in smaller working groups to talk about challenges in this transition, as there are some. And then looking at making these corridors follow TCO parity, motivating the e-transport parts of the solution, such as supply of vehicles, and of course, making sure that infrastructure is in the right places to electrify long-haul freight.
And I think this is very powerful. So first you need to know where shippers want to actually have the goods transported, where they're ready to transition, motivating, then building that whole volume together to actually offer this at the end to unlock the availability of charging and availability of the e-transport. So a simple yet powerful idea. So this is where we are with Smart Freight Center today, and that's probably the most important slide of all the slides today. We have predefined the 4 key corridors on the European map that we can work on. But we need also input. We need that demand. We need to talk about where do we want that? Do we want a green, a red, or blue, or the pink route? All of them are correlated with the TEN-T network, but there is a difference. We need to start step by step building consortium after consortium. That's why we came up, and with Smart Freight Center, we started our survey. We started the survey. We already have multiple big companies who have actually applied and shared which corridors would be the first corridor, trans-European corridor for Europe, and we will follow up with getting the volumes together. The consortium is planned for Q3.
Yes, that's correct. A bit more information about the survey. It's looking at a high-level peak of where the companies who participate wish to electrify their freight. We'll follow that. We'll take it step by step, as Bartek mentioned, with, of course, the goal of fully covered networks in the future.
I suppose everybody knows who the shipper is, who the freight provider is, but for the consortium, that means we are looking at the demand side. We're talking to companies like Danone, companies like Unilever, companies like Henkel, to actually say, this is where we want to move and have fully carbon neutral transport. So everything where we charge at Milence is CO2 neutral. We provide only green electricity. That means opening these corridors, meaning removing all carbon from that transport on a route. We have ambitious targets. So when would we like to see that live, Sam?
We do, actually. In the next couple of weeks, we would like to gather the first results from this survey. With those results, we will choose 1 to 2 corridors, and following that, set up the industry consortiums, as you mentioned, Q3 of this year. So the name of the game is acceleration here.
Perfect. So we see this corridor live in early next year. A lot needs to happen. We would need to do some proper business case analysis for everybody to have their chunk of business. But at the end, we believe that this is absolutely possible. The trucks are capable. A lot of infrastructure from Milence is there. TCO and incentives on the government on many of those routes, are there. And I think when we come together, we can just basically crack it with the shippers committing to some demand. So that's how it works, and we know that it works. So how do we know that, Sam?
We know that it works. I foreshadowed this a little bit, and this is an example of the corridor project Smart Freight Center is organizing in the United States. We have this very long stretch of highway here, which we wish to electrify, going from Los Angeles all the way to Houston, and eventually beyond. The I-10 actually extends to Jacksonville, Florida, and hopefully we get there one day. So this project came about as a result of motivated demand. Once again, while working with an infrastructure provider, Terawatt in the bottom corner, to make the charging a reality. We essentially brought in these companies. They showed that they were interested. They showed that they're motivated to move freight with electric trucks. We built a consortium around them, and we're well on our way to doing that in the United States. We would like to follow the same strategy, same playbook here in Europe as well.
And I would claim the US doesn't really offer more favorable conditions for electrifying the transport that Europe does today. So why wouldn't we be able to do it in Europe with Milence? We believe this is absolutely possible, and we're looking for motivated demand from the shippers willing to join us and actually move and transition and offer to the market to open that route. That route is actually longer than most of the routes or corridors in Europe, isn't it?
I would say so. I was born and raised in the U.S., and the distances there are much, much longer than we're used to over here. So,
very good. So, what would be the first step? We need your help. We need help of shippers to really select that corridor. As Sam mentioned, the next 3 weeks are decisive, so there is still time to fill in that survey, help us select the right corridor, and start working to build that consortium, put the volumes in, and electrify. So first step, and that's the real QR code over there. You can scan it. You can be allowed to fill in the survey and get your vote and become part of that project.
I should mention the QR code goes to a Microsoft form, and then I will be sending out a personalized survey invite following that.
Let's summarize the benefits for the market. There is a benefit, the overall benefit for all of us, taking out the CO2 from the road. There is a benefit for the road transport having committed demand. There is a benefit for shippers to actually accelerate and have favorable conditions and accelerate that long haul, and also to learn step by step how to move further and further with transport. And there is also a benefit for Milence to build the infrastructure exactly where it's needed based on the feedback from the market. So that's actually a win-win-win as we see, and we're really attracted by the idea of the corridors. And not only us, it's also by the policymakers. It's a story of the policymakers. Green corridors are high on the EU agenda, and we would love you to be part of that journey.
Absolutely. Smart Freight Center brings the know-how from previous corridor projects, the ability to collaborate among shippers, carriers, CPOs as well. And together, I think that we can really make a lot of headway here.
We're very proud to be part of Smart Freight Center. We're looking forward to collaborate further. And as we mentioned earlier, no one can transition alone. So let's do it together. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you very much. Thank you.